Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, back for another Star Wars The Black Series double review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series Archive Dengar, and then the Clone Wars Cad Bane. And the only reason I'm... Fudge. And the only reason I'm reviewing these guys together is because they are both bounty hunters and they're Star Wars The Black Series figures. So, anyway, let's just get right on into the review by starting with the packaging. Dengar's packaging here just has his face right there. It says Archive Series, has his name, says Star Wars The Black Series up there, and on the back it's got a history of the original Dengar Black Series toy and a little read-up of Dengar right there. So, there we go. And then here is the Cad Bane box with Cad Bane, and it's got his name, Cad Bane, Clone Wars, here on the back. You got the image and then his name, and that's really it for the packaging. Ow. And now taking a look at the accessories included with both Dengar and Cad Bane. Starting with Dengar, Dengar comes with a blaster pistol right here, and hey, be sure to let me know down in the comments below if you know the exact name of this particular blaster pistol. Looks very similar to Han Solo's. And then Dengar also comes with his really long, heavy repeating blaster. Again, leave it down in the comments below if you can remember the name, because legitimately at this moment I cannot remember. It's totally not a way for me to get comments on the video, but there's the gun. And then he also comes with this big old backpack here. And again, I really like the sculpting and the paintwork that went in on this backpack. I like all the texturing and all these mechanical components, these little straps right here. I'll show off the attachment of this in just a second. And then Cad Bane comes with a pair of blaster pistols, identical ones that he used within the Clone Wars animated series. And these look very good, especially in that silver paint. They look very nice. And then he also comes with a little satchel bag that he also had in the series, and it's just a separate piece, so I'm counting it as an accessory. And then obviously Cad Bane's iconic hat, and I like the leathery texturing and the material they used on this hat. Very nice. As for Dengar's accessories, you just take his backpack and you stick it right there on his back, and those straps should just very easily clip into areas underneath his armpits right down there. And then the blaster pistol just goes into a little holster on his hip down here. And yeah, that's really it for that. Sadly, there's no place to kind of store the rifle on the heavy repeating blaster on his back, so you just kind of have to make him awkwardly hold it in his hand. And then going over Cad Bane, Cad Bane's pistols go right there into the holsters. I mean, that should be pretty self-explanatory. And then the satchel here just goes around his arm and his head, and you just put it back there. And then obviously Cad Bane's hat just goes right there. And yeah, he looks pretty good, I'd say. There is one glaring issue I do have with the hat right here. Fudge. Cad Bane's hat, this is my biggest issue with the entire figure. His hat does not want to stay on. Back when I was younger, I used to have the old 3 3/4 inch Clone Wars Cad Bane figure, and it had this same issue. The hat is it's just a smooth dome right inside of there, and you just have to get it to wedge on Cad Bane's head here, but because of the plastic, it just kind of sits and rests on his head instead of, like, pegging on. I would have liked for this hat to have had a slightly smaller hole, but it doesn't have any of that, so screw this. And now taking a look at Dengar's face sculpt, it looks pretty good. I like all the bandages and the wrapping going all over his head. And then his face sculpt looks a lot better, I'd say, than that original Black Series figure that came out all those years ago. My only problem is I feel like the scars on his face shouldn't be that bright of a red. I feel like they shouldn't look that, they shouldn't look like such fresh wounds. They're supposed to look more like, scars. So I would have preferred for them to look a little bit more of a brownish red color, just to kind of show that they've kind of been there on his face for a while, but yeah, whatever. Coming down the rest of his body here, I like how they made the brown Imperial armor that this guy used from that one Imperial officer, because apparently that's where this comes from. And it's got little bits of silver right there to indicate battle damage and such. Looks very precise, and all the mechanical detailing on it looks great. And then coming down the rest of the torso here, again, he's got the belt, he's got the gloves, the arms. I love the brown and the tans. Everything looks great. There's that backpack like I showed off before. And then his gun in his hand, and then he's got the holster. overall. Very nice looking Stormtrooper, reused Stormtrooper armor here. And he actually has the symmetrical Stormtrooper shin guards right here. And then I find it funny how Dengar's feet look like he's wearing Crocs. The main reason that compelled me to buy this Dengar figure was the fact that he was voiced by Simon Pegg, and also he was voiced like that in the Star Wars Battlefront 2015, and I really loved playing this guy in the multiplayer.
Ooh, I'm so scared.
Now, the articulation on this guy is kind of weak, considering this guy is such an older figure, it's not that big an issue. His head is on a ball joint. It can move around a teeny bit, but it's mostly for head swiveling. Can't really look up or down or anything. Shoulders rotate a full 360. They can move outward that far. They can move down. He does have a elbow swivel. 90 degrees of bend at that elbow. Both of the wrists rotate and hinge in and out, and this one hinges up and down. Diaphragm joint, which does a little bit of diaphragm pivots, mostly for swiveling, not really any arching back or crunch. Hips can kick forward, they can't really kick back. Hips can move outward, and due to the pliable material of those satchels, they do move out of the way. He does have a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, which are a little too low down the leg for my liking. And then his ankles can move up, they can move down, and he's got really good ankle pivot on those Crocs. And now taking a look at Cad Bane's up-close details. I'm just going to lose the hat for now, just because it's just going to get annoying. There's Cad Bane's big forehead, big bald forehead. And, yeah, I like the way how Cad Bane looks. I like his little angry expression. His eyes right there look nice and red. You know, now that I think about it, if he didn't have the nose, if he had a nose and then didn't have the red eyes, he kind of looks like Megamind a little bit. But that's mostly because of the blue skin. He does have this little hose thingy right here, which technically is its own separate piece, but I just left it on as it's one part of the whole head. I didn't count it as an accessory. He does have this leathery material coming down the plastic on the texturing for his jacket, and again, I like this slight brown wash on the dark brown shirt in there. The silver and everything looks great. His forearms look awesome with those gauntlets there, and the fingerless gloves look good. There's the holsters right there with the pistols. His slacks look really good as well. And then he's got the little thrusters right there on his ankles, and they can rotate up and down. I'm assuming they rotate up like this when he's not using them. And then his coattails also look really good as well. Again, nice leathery texturing. And then that satchel there just really seals the deal on this guy. Really like Cad Bane, but unlike Dengar, this guy actually has really good articulation. So he has a double ball-jointed neck. He has one down at the on the collar of the neck and then one in the head. So it allows his head to look down, allows it to look up. A little bit of head pivoting and swiveling. Shoulders can rotate a full 360. They can move up that far and down that far. And also, if you move the coat, you can kind of see in there, he does have a butterfly joint. He does have a legit bicep swivel, but it's kind of snug, but you do also get an elbow swivel as well. And then he bends at the elbow, and if you notice, there's those little little rubbery wires there, which also bend along with the elbow. Very nice. His wrists do rotate and hinge up and down, and that is on both of his wrists. He has a diaphragm joint, which allows for an arching back, a slight crunch, waist swiveling, diaphragm pivot, and then his hips can move forward, they can move back, they can move outward that far. He does get a thigh swivel. Single bend at the knee. Was hoping for double jointed knees, but still is fine. And then he does get an ankles can move up, they can move down, and they can pivot very much. So very good articulation on this guy. Again, everything about this Cad Bane is basically perfect. Just I wish the hat had a little tab somewhere, or at least a more snug fit on this guy's head. And since we were on the topic of voice acting and such earlier with Dengar, I should mention Cad Bane always had one of the coolest voices out of anybody in Clone Wars. And then for size comparisons, here is the Cad Bane and Dengar compared next to the last two Star Wars The Black Series figures I reviewed, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And then here is Dengar and Cad Bane compared next to one of the few other bounty hunter action figures I have, the Mandalorian. So anyway, that is basically it for comparisons. And that is basically it for my review on the Star Wars The Black Series Cad Bane and Dengar Bounty Hunters. And yes, I do like the figures. Like, first of all, with the Dengar, even though it is an older figure, I do still like the way how it came out. He looks the part. I just wish that little those little scars on him just looked a little bit better. Obviously, extra accessories would be nice, but I think the figure is fine as is. And honestly, I really have nothing to complain about, except for maybe the articulation is a bit hindered in some spots. And then Cad Bane has excellent articulation, excellent painting and sculpting. He just needs his pistol, his hat, and the little satchel as accessories. Like, obviously, other stuff would be cool, like maybe if he came with a little minifigure of Toto or something like that. But my main complaint with Cad Bane is I wish his hat would just frickin' stay on. It's really irritating, and I really wish that it was an issue that had already been fixed from forever ago. Because, like I said, it was also an issue on that little small 3 3/4 inch Cad Bane from way back when, and I just really hated how the hat kept falling off as a kid, and I'm still really irritated by how it keeps falling off, even with a modern 6-inch scale figure nowadays. So anyway, it's just a problem I feel like that Hasbro should have already fixed at this point. But I still really love the Cad Bane figure, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If I had to give these guys individual ratings, for the Dengar I give him a solid 6 out of 10, and then the Cad Bane I give him a solid 9 out of 10. He would have been a 10 out of 10, but he just didn't have the freaking hat. So anyway, that is basically it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give me a like on the video. Comment down below what you guys think. Be sure to subscribe for more Star Wars The Black Series reviews, and I'll catch you guys next time.